Welcome back to Spy X Family Anime Review, episode number 6. Now you're probably thinking, wow, it didn't take you very long to get back this one compared to other anime you've done where you view it and then basically come back to whenever new season airs. Well, just by sheer coincidence, I managed to catch up with the series like a week prior to this new cour coming out. Yeah, so first you're on cour 2 of Spy X Family. Excuse me. This one we're covering episode 13 of the anime. Project Apple, which steps the first 2 chapters of the Doggy Crisis arc. Chapters 18 and 19. I remember these chapters very well. Now, in this particular episode, we start out basically with the Forager family getting Anya a dog. Yep. That's simply put, basically, is they do in fact at the start of the episode because I think for some people it probably had been a while since part 1 aired, so they get basically a bit of a recap of pretty much the series at that point, which is quite nice of basically what's due for doing that. Afterwards, they go to a doggy, basically to a pet store, which apparently is run by the same people who Jaeger, where he basically works for, Lloyd, yeah, what the agency he works for. And it turns out, no, the dog's there. She doesn't find him interesting. So, called to headquarters to pose for an assignment. Because they found out basically that somebody's planning to kill the minister. And thanks to a captured terrorist, yes, a captured terrorist. Okay. Yes, so... And by the way, the handler, aka Sylvia, she returns to the anime because, yeah, still voiced by the awesome Stephanie Young. And I've got to point this out, though. She's one of the very few anime voice actors I've seen who tend to voice some of the most beautiful women in the history of anime. Yeah, she's definitely up there with Colin Clickabeard, where, like, almost every woman that she's basically voiced, except for, like, one, tends to be, like, some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in the history of anime. You would think, what about Lucy Christian? Yeah, she definitely does too. I definitely do agree. She definitely does basically voice a lot of really beautiful women. But Stephanie Young is definitely up there. Especially Sylvia smoking hot, like every time we're like, oh, wow, this woman's like so freaking gorgeous. Yep. So they kind of tricked the guy to reveal what exactly the plan is. So apparently there's this isolationist group would apparently want to start basically assassination in order to return their country to former glory. And what they plan to use to kill the minister? Turning dogs into bombs. Yes, seriously. That is their master plan. And apparently this is a result of something called Project Apple. They explain in the episode, this is definitely true in the manga, where that the Project Apple was to basically have certain animals develop very high level intelligence for military purposes. When the regime took over for the government, the project was abandoned, and basically was left lowered expectations, and presumably that these animals were basically put to sleep. Some may have escaped and put on the black market. So, meanwhile, though, we have Anya and Yor, which after basically requested by Lloyd to go to a train station shelter for adoption, and of course, Lloyd basically realizes Anya is covering for him for his assignment, not knowing the fact that she's a freaking telepath. So they go like, oh, like all these adorable dogs, and then she looks at them like, there's a big white dog, and she just pointed out something. Now they show basically a vision of her. Obviously, that apparently something's happening to that dog, and of course, Yor's like, what are you talking about? So she proceeds to quietly, while you have Yor talking to one of the people who work at that auction, where she proceeds to slip out to go rescue that white dog. The white dog, by the way, I forgot to mention this when I talked about episode 12. It actually made its first appearance in the previous episode, episode 12. I'm not going to say what the dog's name is just yet because, well, I'll let the anime basically do that. Now, I looked up online. Apparently, this arc does wrap up by episode 15. So, basically, we're not going to be here very long. No, not necessarily. So, by episode 16, we're going to basically start up we do have the debut of the character Chris. and Kurt, and a wise agent. Yep. They pretty much in the way make their debut in this episode. Yeah, in case you're curious though about the very next arc of the series, which is the midterm exam. That's going to start at episode 16. Yep. So, next time goes to the warehouse across the street, which, and by the way, we actually have where the agency, where they basically find the safe houses for this terrorist group. Yeah, they find the safe houses because their person leaked them to the, well, though Sylvia does tell her people, just leak this a little bit to the opposition so we're not going to start a full-scale war. So, oh yeah, by the way, you have Anya who breaks into the warehouse and able to get past the guards, like get to the room where the dogs are, no problem. Then she overhears they're desperately playing with it. Want to basically return to the with Salas to former glory. And then we see a guy in the room where Anya is, and he tells him, "Hey, boss, she heard everything you said." And then they want to kill her. And Bond, seeing that, and not Bond, I'm sorry about that. That's a spoiling, basically. We do see basically first we see his ability where he sees like a boy, where he basically races away from the guy who's basically watching him. To grab a little boy by the shirt, he's like, "Is he trying to attack him?" No, he's actually aiming from a falling piece of debris. Because it's revealed possibly in this episode, this dog has got foresight. So apparently the dog must have known about it. So basically, that, well, he breaks for the leash, and of course he's able to, thanks for trying to protect Ani, gets her away, and then he runs round circles completely around the building. Yor is basically going hysterical, thinking that Ani must be kidnapped by people who want to force her to be a child bride. That's not the case, anyways. Oh, by the way, she actually goes to the ceiling, and someone notices that she comes down the ceiling, and like only one person in this entire big area knows she comes down. There's only one person, and she apparently just doesn't care the fact people just notice her coming down from the ceiling like she's basically some acrobat or something, even though she's an assassin. So then, of course, eventually she's able to find Anya in this great shot where, like, they're about to kill Anya, and there's Yor just having her eyes wide out like she's very angry, saving Anya, and of course, kicking the guy so freaking hard. He basically goes like across like a pink like a pinball, goes whack 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 whack. Yep, and it's like, what are you perverts doing to my daughter? And that's kind of how the episode ends. Good episode. Definitely looking forward to next week's episode, which we're going to continue basically this. Now, my rule is simply this when it comes to anime like this. If there's a dub, I wait for the dub to come out. If there is a dub. If there's not a dub yet, I'll go ahead and watch it. But for this series, this is like in the case of My Hero Academia, where I basically wait for the dub. Even though this thing has been out for like 2 or 3 weeks in Japan, I wait for the dub because I like hearing something in English. That's how I roll when it comes to that, okay? So yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Next up is Case Closed. Then Boruto, then possibly a good time I might do one other anime, okay? Next video. Bye.